The ketchup bottle in your fridge door has one job: tomatoes, vinegar, salt, maybe a little sweetness. That's the entire premise of the product. But flip over 5 of the most common bottles in America, and you'll find a category quietly built on stacked sweeteners, sodium math that doesn't match the organic label, and brand identities doing more work than the ingredients themselves. This video breaks down 5 ketchup brands worth putting back on the shelf, counting down from the least bad to the one that's been sitting in more American kitchens than any other for over a century. Then 3 brands that actually deliver what ketchup is supposed to be. Every fact here comes straight from the ingredient panel and the nutrition label. Let's open the bottles. Number 5. Market Pantry, the Target store brand. Nobody picks this ketchup on purpose. It's the one that ends up in the cart because it's sitting next to the eggs and it's cheaper than the name brand beside it. Not because anyone compared the two and decided this was the better formula. Store brand ketchup runs on one governing principle above everything else, and it isn't flavor. It's hitting the lowest shelf price the supply chain can support while still calling the product ketchup. Market Pantry's ingredient list confirms exactly that approach. Corn syrup and high fructose corn syrup, both listed in the same bottle. 2 sweeteners from the same base source, doing the same job, stacked together for one simple reason: the blend was cheaper that production cycle than committing to just one. This is what happens when a formula gets optimized for cost before it gets optimized for anything else. It isn't the worst bottle on this list, and it isn't trying to be anything more than what it is. It's just proof that store brand and name brand ketchup are ingredient for ingredient, frequently built the exact same way underneath 2 very different logos and 2 very different price tags. Line the ingredient panels up side by side instead of judging by the label design, and the gap between budget and name brand gets a lot smaller than the packaging wants you to believe. Number 4, Great Value, the Walmart house brand. Same pattern as Market Pantry, just pushed a little further down the same road. The ingredient list reads: tomato concentrate, high fructose corn syrup, distilled vinegar, salt, less than 2% of onion powder, spices, natural flavors. That's confirmed straight off the bottle, not an estimate. High fructose corn syrup and corn syrup, listed as 2 separate ingredients, both derived from corn, both there purely to sweeten the same product. That's not a flavor decision made by someone tasting batches in a kitchen. It's a cost engineering decision made by someone watching a commodity market. When a manufacturer blends 2 sweeteners instead of committing to one, it's almost always because the blend priced out cheaper that particular week than either ingredient alone would have. At under $1 a bottle in most stores, Great Value sits at the true floor of this category, and the ingredient panel reflects exactly that reality with nothing dressed up about it. There's no organic claim here, no reduced sodium version sitting on the same shelf, nothing positioning this as anything other than the cheapest possible way to get red, tangy sauce into a squeeze bottle. That's not necessarily a deal breaker on its own. It just means you should know exactly what you're trading for that price before it lands in your cart out of habit. Number 3, Hunt's Tomato Ketchup. This one is worth slowing down for because Hunt's has spent real marketing money over the years telling you it doesn't do what the last 2 brands do. Back in 2010, Conagra announced publicly, with real press coverage at the time, that it had removed high fructose corn syrup from Hunt's ketchup entirely, switching to a 5-ingredient formula built on cane sugar instead. That announcement did its job. It still shapes the brand's reputation today, more than a decade later, and Heinz is widely seen as the cleaner, more grown-up mainstream option sitting next to Heinz on the shelf. Here's what the current ingredient panel on the standard bottle actually shows, though. The bottle most people are grabbing without a second thought. Tomato concentrate, high fructose corn syrup, distilled vinegar, corn syrup, salt, less than 2% onion powder, garlic powder, natural flavors. The HFCS free version absolutely does exist, and it's a real product, sold separately under the 100% natural and best ever labeling. But that's a different formula from the one carrying the standard Heinz name and the standard shelf placement most stores give it. Two formulas, one brand identity, and the marketing built around the clean version is quietly doing cover for the version most shoppers are actually walking out the door with week after week, without ever knowing a second option existed on the same shelf under a slightly different label. Number 2. Muir Glen Organic Ketchup. This is the entry that tends to surprise people the most because the word organic on the front of a bottle does a tremendous amount of psychological work before anyone even reads the ingredients underneath it. No high fructose corn syrup anywhere in the formula, no artificial anything, USDA certified organic straight through. On paper, this should be the single safest, cleanest choice on the entire shelf. But the ingredient list tells a more specific and more complicated story once you actually read it line by line. Tomato puree, sugar, vinegar, sea salt, onion powder, salt, garlic powder, cayenne pepper, natural flavor. Look closely at that list again. Sea salt and salt, listed as two separate ingredients in the exact same bottle. That's not a formatting quirk or an accident on the label. It's two distinct sodium sources stacked the same way the budget brands stack their sweeteners. And it shows up directly and measurably in the nutrition panel. Muir Glen runs around 240 milligrams of sodium per tablespoon, the highest of any major ketchup brand on the shelf, organic or not, beating out every conventional brand on this entire list. Pulling the sweetener everyone's been trained to watch for doesn't automatically mean the rest of the formula got cleaner. Sometimes it just means the problem quietly moved over to a different ingredient, one far fewer people ever think to check. And organic on the front of the bottle was never a promise about sodium in the first place, only about how the tomatoes themselves were grown. Number 1. Heinz Tomato Ketchup. The one that's been sitting in more American refrigerators than any other condiment in recorded history. The one that basically defined what ketchup is supposed to taste like for multiple generations in a row. And it's built on the exact same sweetening approach as the two cheapest store brands 3 spots down this very list. The ingredient panel reads tomato concentrate, distilled vinegar, high fructose corn syrup, salt, spice, onion powder, natural flavoring. 2 sweeteners stacked in the single best-selling ketchup in the entire country. The one most people assume is the real one, the benchmark, simply because it's the one they grew up with in their own kitchen. Sodium runs 160 milligrams and sugar runs 4 grams per tablespoon, both confirmed directly off the current nutrition label, no estimating required. Natural flavoring sits at the very bottom of the ingredient list, doing the same quiet job it does everywhere else in this entire category, covering an unspecified blend that the company is under no legal obligation to break down any further for the person holding the bottle. Heinz does sell a genuinely different organic version with no high fructose corn syrup in it, same as Heinz does. But the bottle that actually put Heinz at the top of this category, the recognizable glass bottle or the classic squeeze version sitting in most refrigerators right now, is the one built on the formula above. A century and a half of brand trust doesn't change a single line of what's actually in the bottle. It just makes people considerably less likely to ever check, Because when a bottle has been on your table since before you could read, flipping it over to actually read the back feels almost unnecessary, even though it's the one habit that would tell you the most. That's the full avoid list. Market Pantry, Great Value, Hunt Standard, Muir Glen, and Heinz Classic in that order. If one of those 5 is sitting in your fridge door right now, that's not a personal failing on your part, and it's not a knock on your judgment. That's exactly what decades of shelf placement, advertising budgets, and pure brand familiarity are engineered to produce in a shopper who's moving fast through a grocery store. Drop a comment with which one you just realized you're holding. Genuinely curious how many people watching this are about to walk over and check their own fridge door. Now, the 3 brands that actually earn their spot on the shelf. Number 3. Annie's Organic Ketchup. The ingredient list here is short, specific, and doesn't need any decoding. Tomato paste, water, cane sugar, distilled white vinegar, sea salt, dried onion, allspice, clove, all of it certified organic, confirmed directly off the label. 1 salt source, not 2. 1 sweetener, not stacked on top of a second one. No natural flavor catch-all hiding an unlisted blend somewhere at the bottom of the list. Every single flavor note is an actual named spice you could picture sitting in a spice rack. No high fructose corn syrup anywhere in the formula, full stop. This isn't a specialty product built for one narrow diet trend or a small niche audience. It's a straightforward, honestly labeled ketchup that happens to be organic, and it sits at a normal grocery store price point, instead of the boutique markup a lot of clean label products carry. If the only thing standing between you and switching brands has been assuming organic automatically means expensive, this is the one that proves that assumption wrong. Number 2. Sir Kensington's Classic Ketchup. Tomatoes, tomato paste, fair trade, organic cane sugar, water, onions, distilled vinegar, salt, lime juice concentrate, green bell peppers, allspice. What stands out here isn't just the absence of high fructose corn syrup. Plenty of brands on this list technically clear that bar. It's that the flavor complexity is coming from actual produce doing actual work inside the formula. Onions and green bell peppers are listed as real ingredients you can picture, not folded away into a vague, natural flavor line the way almost every other brand on this list handles it. The brand states its formula runs lower in both sugar and salt than conventional ketchup, while still landing a distinct, noticeably tangier flavor profile than the flat, neutral sweetness most mainstream brands are built around. It's a premium price point compared to the brands earlier on this list, no question about that. But for once, the ingredient panel is genuinely where that premium is actually going, not toward packaging design or a celebrity endorsement, but toward the actual contents of the bottle you're pouring onto your plate. Number 1. Primal Kitchen Organic Unsweetened Ketchup. This is the bottle that solves the entire problem this video has been circling around for the last several minutes. Ingredients: organic tomato concentrate, organic balsamic vinegar made from organic white wine vinegar and organic grape must, organic distilled vinegar, salt, and less than 2% each of organic onion powder, garlic powder, and spices. No cane sugar anywhere in the list. No corn syrup. No sweetener of any kind whatsoever, confirmed directly off the current label. The tang here comes entirely from balsamic and distilled vinegar working together, and the tomato flavor is left alone to actually taste like tomato instead of getting buried under a layer of added sweetness the way it does in literally every brand covered earlier in this video. It's non-GMO project verified, Whole30 approved, and keto certified, not because the brand is chasing a passing diet trend for marketing purposes, but simply because a ketchup with 0 added sugar clears all 3 of those bars automatically without trying. If mainstream ketchup has ever tasted slightly artificial or oddly sweet to you, even a little, this is roughly what unsweetened tomato flavor is actually supposed to taste like on its own, and it's a genuinely useful bottle to keep around, even if you're not following any of the diets it happens to qualify for. So here's the pattern sitting underneath all 8 bottles covered in this video. The brands on the avoid list aren't lying to you anywhere. Everything in them is legally disclosed right there in plain text on the label for anyone who takes the time to flip the bottle over. But the formulas are built around stacked sweeteners, and in at least one case stacked sodium sources, doing the flavor work that better tomatoes and real named spices would otherwise have to do on their own. Organic on the front, or no HFCS on the front, doesn't automatically guarantee the rest of the formula actually improved. Sometimes, like with Muir Glen, it just means the problem quietly moved over to a different ingredient most shoppers weren't trained to look for in the first place. The 3 brands on the good list aren't doing anything exotic or complicated. They're simply using fewer, clearly named ingredients and letting real tomatoes and real spices carry the flavor, instead of leaning on a sweetener stack or a sodium stack to fake it for them. None of them are hiding behind a diet buzzword either. No keto splashed across the front, no guilt-free sticker doing the marketing's job for it. The ingredient panel does that work on its own, which is really the whole point of this entire video. The label was never going to lie to you outright. It was just never designed to make the comparison easy. And that's the part a 5-second glance at the front of the bottle will never fix. Worth putting the numbers in context before you write off a whole aisle. The FDA's General Daily Value Guidance puts the sodium ceiling at 2,300 milligrams a day, and the American Heart Association recommends capping added sugar around 25 grams a day for women and 36 for men. 1 tablespoon of ketchup on its own isn't going to break either of those limits. But ketchup is rarely eaten 1 tablespoon at a time. It goes on burgers, fries, hot dogs, scrambled eggs, meatloaf, sometimes 2 or 3 servings deep without anyone actually measuring, and it's paired with foods that are already carrying their own sodium load before the ketchup even shows up. That's the actual stakes here, not 1 tablespoon in isolation, but which formula you're compounding on top of everything else on the plate, meal after meal, month after month, without ever once flipping the bottle around to check. Before your next grocery run, here's the 60-second label check worth doing at the shelf. Flip the bottle over and look for 3 specific things. First, is there more than 1 sweetener listed on the panel? Corn syrup and high fructose corn syrup sitting together is a stacked formula, not a single deliberate flavor choice someone made on purpose. Second, is there more than 1 sodium source listed? Salt and sea salt together in the same ingredient list is the exact same stacking trick, just showing up on the other side of the label where fewer people think to look for it. Third, does natural flavor or spice show up on the list without any of the actual spices being named anywhere else? That's an opacity clause doing a job, not an honest flavor description. Hit 2 of those 3 on any bottle in your hand, and it's very likely one this video already covered. You can finish what's left in the bottle or replace it. Either choice is fine, but at least now you're making that call with information. The front of the label was never actually designed to hand you in the first place. Information that took less than a minute to find once you knew where to look for it. If this changed which bottle you're reaching for next time you're at the store, let me know in the comments which one on this list surprised you the most. I read through every single one, and if there's another condiment sitting in your fridge door you want broken down the same way next, tell me which one and it might be the next video on this channel.